Welcome to the Jamodi Podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders, so let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is Jamodi, just a matter of doing it.
Coaches and athletic directors, our sponsor Scoreboard Media has an incredible opportunity for your school. Right now, they're giving away 2 large LED video scoreboards, $152,000 value per school, to 32 select high schools across the country. Scoreboard Media pays for the boards, the software racks, and iPad controllers, as well as the delivery and installation. On top of that, they'll run the entire advertising program, generating a significant revenue sharing opportunity for the school. Since 2021, Scoreboard Media has been helping high schools upgrade their gyms and execute professional sponsorship programs. Not every school qualifies, and they're signing up new schools every week. So inventory is moving fast, and the install calendar is filling up for the summer. If you're interested, reach out to Scoreboard Media founder Charlie Melton at charlie@scoreboardmedia.com to set up a call and see if there's a fit.
Kind of shifting to players, you talked about how when guys get to you see these imbalances with them physically, but what about with their diet? And so what do you get a freshman on campus for the first time? What are some of those go-tos that you say, all right, here's how we're going to maybe deconstruct what you've been doing, and here are some guidelines for how you're going to eat, how you're going to hydrate? Because I think if you're doing it at your level with the excellence that you bring, why shouldn't we be encouraging our players at the high school level to do it?
A great question. Super difficult question. Super difficult topic. It's on one of those things where somebody says, somebody has to do something about it because nobody really knows what to do. But when it comes to nutrition, to me, the key piece is behavior modification. I'm trying to modify your behavioral choices that are ingrained in you from your childhood, from that store that has those Raisinets that you pass every night after the game. And it's just these habits. What is it? 21 occurrences of a stimulus turn it into a habit. And so that behavior modification, when we start with athletes, I like to get a picture of what their daily average diet looks like over the course of 3 or 4 days. We have the easy way for me to answer the question is to say we've got a registered dietitian on staff that does all this, and it's not my area. But I think when I was in charge, so we've changed the guard a little bit at Baylor. It used to be really incumbent on the strength coach to do the nutrition and the strength training. And now we've got an entire performance nutrition department.
Yeah, that makes sense. But what you've done before. Yeah. Yeah.
So in the past, and if I work one-on-one with an athlete, this is the approach. But I like to have them write down really simply their food over 4 or 5 days and include the weekends. And I want everything. Because you can make room for a bad weekend day if you have a day before it and a day after to prop it up a little bit. So after we look through that diet recall, let's say it's a 4-day diet recall, we kind of look for some low-hanging fruit for an athlete. They have to eat breakfast. So if breakfast isn't there, fix breakfast first. It starts the day. And we've got an athlete currently, the only athlete that is at Baylor men's basketball right now was not a member of our staff team that played. He's a transfer that came this year. But he has problems with breakfast. So I'm like, dude, we have muscle milk, we have Gatorade bars, we have Nutri-Grain bars, we have animal crackers, we have yogurt, peanut butter. Just put something in your system in the morning. And for the first week, you don't even grade what it is. You're just happy they did it. It could be a bag of peanut M&Ms for all I care. But we're establishing the habit. We're creating the behavioral modification. Once that behavior gets locked in, then we can say, okay, with peanut M&Ms, why don't you add a protein shake with your peanut M&Ms? And I'm more of a proponent of slow change, gradual change, and success versus it's all wrong, burn the boats, we're starting from ground zero. Nutrition doesn't work that way because nutrition is as close to someone's being as their faith. I'm from the South, Matt. You're not going to tell me that fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, biscuits with honey and jam on them, that isn't good. We grew up on collard greens. I'm going to eat bacon. It's a known fact.
Small
So
bacon's great for you.
but it's trying to change those. So second after breakfast, we
Yeah.
look for your post-workout meal. What are you eating immediately post-workout? That's when your body releases tons of insulin as a survival response. When you deplete your body's energy stores through training or competing or whatever activity you're doing, there's a systematic response. After you cool down and start to recover, your body elevates insulin so that any carbs or protein you put in are uploaded to the muscle cells as fast as possible. That elevated insulin spike only lasts for a short period of time. So if you miss it, you're still going to absorb insulin, but not at the 2 or 3 times rate that you get up to, like, research goes back and forth. Somewhere between 30 minutes and 2 hours post workout, you need a big dump of calories. We used to try to get it within the first 30 minutes. No, debating it. That was like our standard deal. Now it's been pushed out from 30 to like 2 hours.
Put it in the protein window, something like that. Like they had somewhere. You got this window. You got to get in the window. You're missing it. Like you got time.
And now they're saying it's a little bit different than that, but we still try to push that where you get basically a solid meal's worth of calories in liquid form is what we go for. So I want 40 to 50 grams of clean protein. I want 100 to 120 grams of carbohydrates. And I don't really care about the fat at that point. But so that's what we're doing is, and then if you're taking creatine or glutamine, that's when we're going to administer a creatine dose. That's for personal training. We still can't give creatine in college, which one day that's going to change. The athletes can take it on their own, but just staying within the bounds of protein and carbs. So if we can get their breakfast dialed in and we can get that post-workout meal dialed in, we feel really good about the fact that all kids are going to eat dinner and all kids are probably going to eat lunch. So if we knock out the breakfast meal, the workout meal, we're basically handling 4 meals throughout the day because dinner and lunch are going to happen. And if I can impact 4 feeding times a day, that's a great start. Most people, you can't expect them to eat more than 2 or 3 times a day and then just stuff a bunch of snacks randomly. So we try to train that we're going to feed you every 3 hours and it's going to be disciplined, but I want you to have 30 grams of protein, 30 grams of carbs from this particular snack in between walking from math class to English class. And so the next step is once you get the meals dialed in is looking at their schedule and when can we put the food in. Like my experience through college, I took 8 a.m. classes because I worked at UPS 5 nights a week. And so I'd have a meal in between my 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. class because I had breakfast at 6 a.m. So I'm eating again at 9 a.m. And then I'd eat again at noon before the noon class started because I was going to lift an hour and a half later and have my pre-workout drink protein stuff. But I had my schedule where nobody was going to stop me from eating. And I was the weirdo that had Tupperware in my backpack. In University of Memphis, you'd find me in the hall looking at my notes, eating chicken and pasta in between class as fast as I could. And they all thought I was weird, but it kind of led me to where I am now, thankfully.
Yeah, but that is kind of what it takes because if you're not conscious about these decisions and prepared, the odds of it happening by chance. Like I think I love the fact that you have them. I need to do that with my guys. Like write down over 4 days and not tell them why. Like don't give them the reason because there's a tendency maybe they'll make some adjustments that aren't real. So have them, hey, just 4 days, write down everything that you eat. I love to see, but
what time you eat it and what it is.
Yeah, what time and what it is. Because I know if I did that today, I would be way off with what I think I ate and how much protein I think I got in and what I actually did. I think what most people believe is they feel like they're overeating or they're not this or that. And maybe they're, depending on what, like you said, if they're drinking a ton of calories, yeah, they're actually going to get more than what they feel like. But if you're talking like protein and the good stuff, man, I undereat most days on my protein. Because like I said at the beginning, it's like if a chicken breast, if it's, the size of my fist, if that's 30 grams and I got to get in 210, coach, that's a lot of chicken breasts. that I'm
Raw
not, but
chicken.
in different forms, right?
Right.
That's where the shakes come in and those things, but super helpful tip right there.
But it also, Coach Drew gave us a tip on it from what you said about.
Well, that you're not
It's
resulting, that what you think you saw isn't really what you
right.
saw. And so don't be resulting in that moment.
So if his process is to immediately step back from comments about the game to review the game before commenting, it's the same thing. Writing your diet down is like watching film on your diet, because you're going to really remember that great meal that you ate where you had the salad and the ahi tuna, but you're going to forget about those raisinets that were behind your back seats that you hammered on the way into HEB to go pick up dinner. But I mean, all that stuff factors. But yeah, definitely writing it down, just watching film on your own diet.
That's a really good point, though, too, for the great tips that we can give players, really about anything. What if you're just throwing out a blanket statement to your entire group? And what if it doesn't apply the same to every kid? To everybody,
Right.
like, well, if you're giving totals out, you need to give this many grams of protein. Well, not everybody weighs the same amount of weight, so it
Right.
again, and it's a little bit more work, it's a little bit more time. But if we truly want to see them individually take ownership of the process, then it has to be tailored towards them. And maybe there are some similarities from player to player, but again, everybody's different. Everybody has different needs, and then everybody has different home life that, like, maybe like at
Yes.
Faith, maybe they've got a mom that is waking them up, getting them out of bed, already has their meal prepared for them. Or it's like a kid that I had at McKinney that came in and said, Coach, you got anything today? You got anything for me to eat? So
Yeah.
not everybody is coming at it from that same place.
And it's not always from the families that you would like to think. There's been some stories, people close in my family that have had a mom and a dad and lived in a good neighborhood, but the mom just decided she wasn't going to get up to get the kids ready for school. And so at a young age, this little girl was getting herself up and her siblings, and they were in a community that had a golf course. But and it's always just be really mindful of people's situations, because it can look like something and be something totally different. And it goes both ways.
Yeah.
We're just so quick to think we know what's going on with something when we really don't always.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the Jamodi podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.